Hello, this is a video for Advanced Java. Because of the COVID-19 school closure, we're going to make some adjustments to what needs to be done in this last section of the class. They're calling this Phase 4. It's a little late in coming, but it's very similar to what we've been doing right now. Basically, you're going to be working at home on your computer. You should have Eclipse installed on your laptop. You should have all of the different class assignments there. And so I want to run over what needs to be done to get finished. Now I'm in the process of getting videos. I had videos for lesson 2. Lesson 3, I seem to have lost a lot of the 3 and 4 videos, so I'm going to redo those for you, and they'll be available. And we're not going to do lesson 5. So here you can see, here's lesson 2. We started lesson 2. In fact, we did most of this in class. That's why if you look in Skyward or in Canvas, these are classes that you were required to do. All right, and so everything from class number 1 and everything from class number 2 needs to be done. Those will get 0 grades. The remaining ones, Mr. Albrecht will talk about how grading will be done either later this week or early next week, so you'll know. So in this lesson, I'm going to skip through it really quick. Remember, we were going through and we were doing a lot of little things with all the kind of a review of math, and we did a little calculator, a little monthly interest savings calculator, and we did that together in class. I know everybody got that done because we worked together on it. And at the very end, I'm sorry for scrolling on you so fast, but at the very end there were these problems, these 5 problems, and they were very small little problems that are very similar. But your job was to write the code for problem 2-1. And almost everybody did all of these and got them turned in. So if you haven't done all the practice problems from programming from class number 1 and all the practice problems from number 2, you need to get going on those, because that will have the biggest effect on your grade for the semester. Now, in class number 3, and I'll pull that up here. In class number 3, that's the one that we're going to start adding now. And I've already got a few of the videos online for class number 3, and it goes into the concepts of what is function overloading. All right, and then we're going to learn how to do dialog boxes. All right, and that's with what they call the J option pane and the confirm dialog box. And you'll be able to make that dialog box and make it do things when you click on the different buttons. All right, and you just basically follow along. And remember, they have all these sample exercises that are written in here. And as you go through here, they're just once again showing you things. I have a video for the font. I have a video for the colors. Okay, so there's little videos for each of these small sections. They're relatively short, and they just kind of outline it more so than what they do in the text. And also, I do it as samples using Eclipse as well. In fact, most of my new ones, I'm just going to use the samples rather than doing it in a PowerPoint format like I did on the previous old videos. All right, and so once again, these are really long programs, so they take a while to go through, and I'll be covering some things, some of which I will do differently. All right, for example, with the exit form, we might not do the exit form with this window closing. All right, remember, we had a different way of doing that. So the code I demonstrate won't be exactly the same because these are rather old videos. All right, we all know about the grid bag layout and the grid constraints, and we called it my grid on mine. So this is nothing new that you've done. We will learn how to do some alignment, which is a little bit different. We haven't done the alignment yet, so we'll talk about that as we go through in number 3. All right, and then of course there's the buttons, and we'll get into more details about the buttons and what they do. And then we have the labels. Okay, everybody knows how to do labels, and we'll do some formatting on the labels, making them line up. We'll do a text field. A text field is numbers. It's like a big text box. Okay, so you'll be able to not only put text in one row, but you can have multiple rows of text and input. All right, so they cover how to do that. And once again, I'll have little videos. All right, here's the text area. Okay, actually the text area is the multiple rows. Okay, the text box was the one with the single line. All right, and then finally, here you go. This is example 3.1. It's the password validation, and this is what it's going to look like when you get done. And all you do is just follow along, and you just plug in the code that they give you, and you should be able to do it. And as you read and insert the data, it starts to make sense. So this is the part for you to do. Just follow along and submit the final version of the password validation. Okay, I'm going to skip through it really quick here. In fact, I'm going to pause it and I'll come up with the next example. Okay, here's the second example that's in chapter 3. And in this one, we're going to learn how to do radio buttons and check boxes and then have other buttons and process the information. So it's a pizza order form. Okay, so with a radio button, like on the radio in your car, all right, you press a button and you can only choose one. Check boxes, I can check as many boxes as I want. And then here I have them. We're also going to learn about how to create these small little areas here. Notice that they're grouped together within the J-frame. So you'll be learning that in the code. All right, and then we'll pause and we'll come back with the next one. And here's the third example problem that you're going to be doing. And this time we have what we call a J scroll pane, where you can have almost like a text area that you scroll up and down, yet you can select items from it. Okay, it's not just text, it's text where you select, so you can scroll up and down. You've obviously seen those. Then we have these drop down menus, which are called combo boxes, and so you'll be able to create the drop down combo boxes on there, and then assign and exit, so forth. So that's what you'll be learning in example number 3. And now let's go down and look at the practice problems that you'll be doing. Okay, and here are the practice problems at the end of the chapter, where you'll basically make, I think there's four or five little programs here, just 4 of them. All right, and you just basically make little applications that do what they say. The first one is involving using that J option pane in the dialog box. The second one is a simple little program that has you calculate a problem where if you had a sheet of paper and you cut the corners out and you started making a box, well, a flat piece of paper has no volume. It can't hold anything. All right, but as you start to fold up the edges by cutting out the corners, all right, that the walls of the box or the tray start to get taller and taller. And at some point between a totally flat piece of paper and a piece of paper that's straight up and down, both of those are 0. Someplace you reach the maximum volume that can be held in the tray. And so your job is to calculate how big of a cutout, what should the value of X be here, so that it is the maximum amount that can be held in the tray. So once again, think of like a little tray where you're making the side walls are getting taller and taller, but as the side walls get taller and taller, the volume in the middle eventually goes back down to 0, because you've got a piece of paper that's basically just folded straight up in the air. All right, so that one's a little bit tricky to do, but it's kind of fun to do. Then there's the list problem, okay, where we have the scroll pane and the 2 different scroll panes there. You can see what's there. And then the last one is the combo box with the drop downs. All right, and so what you'll do is you'll work through those 3 problems. And if you've gone through and watched all the videos, you've read the assignment, you've done the examples, these shouldn't be really difficult to do. Do your best on them and try to get them turned in. Okay, then the final chapter that we're going to do, we're not going to do chapter number 5 because there just isn't enough time to get it all done. We've lost 6 weeks, and I haven't really gotten a lot of information from some of you. There are people that have done work, but this class in particular, I haven't heard much from our small class members. So you need to try to get a little bit more done if possible. But anyway, chapter 4 just has more swing controls. It'll also do some graphics. So you have a spinner control, and the spinner control is where you click on the little button, it goes up and it goes down. A lot of times that are numbers in there. So you've probably had a little box before where you click on it, it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or you click down and it goes 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's what a spinner box is. Okay, and they teach you how to do all that information. Okay, you can see as it goes through. Sorry, I'm scrolling pretty quick. Here's an example where we can have a spinner box with the date, okay, and then we can have the day. All right, and that's in example 4. Okay, I'll stop it and we'll go to example 2. In example number 2, we'll be using a little slider box, and that's where it's almost like you're scrolling, all right? And the value of the scroll box, which is right here in the middle of the scroll bar, okay, as you move that back and forth, you can set a minimum value, you can set a maximum value, and then this number here will change as you drag it back and forth, and then based on the Fahrenheit, it will display the Celsius. So that is our slider that we'll be working with in example 2. Okay, we'll move on to example 3. Here's example 3. And remember, all you have to do really is just kind of copy the code that's there. I prefer to type it myself so I learn. Hopefully I make a mistake and I learn from my mistake. But in the third example, you're going to be working with little graphics, okay? And those little graphics are really just labels. Okay, and they're labels that you put a picture with them. And so when we get to that point, I'll make sure I put the links to the picture files so you have the little hamburger that you can do. And so this is called Find the Burger, where you click on one of the different boxes, and if you get it right, the burger pops up on the screen. If you get it wrong, it pops up with a red box. All right, and so you'll learn how to do all that with basically putting pictures on labels. All right, let's go on to number 4. All right, here's example number 4. And example number 4, it's an image viewer program where it displays an image, but it actually displays an image from a file. So you can see it's almost like you're creating a little program that allows you to go into your file structure and open up files from your hard drive. And so this is something we'll do the example. We're not going to make you do the assignment. I'd like you to do it just so you get an idea of here's how you would go, for example, to go open a file. All right, when you go File, Open, a dialog box pops up. All right, this would be the dialog box. Now, they give you almost all the code to do this. It's just an opportunity for you to see it. They have this example file, filter.java file. And you need that, and I'll give you all that code so that you can get it done. But just put it together and submit it, and you'll be doing the same thing on all of them. You just put the programs, the examples together and submit them. It's pretty easy if you just follow the instructions. All right, it's the harder ones are when you have to do the practice problems at the end. And so let's take a look at the practice problems at the end of chapter 4. Okay, and here are the practice problems at the end of number 4. And there's only 3 of them that you're going to do. You're going to do the number guess problem, you're going to do the RGB color problem, and you're going to do the tic-tac-toe problem. Okay, all right, you don't have to do the file times problem there. So you only do 4.1, 4.2, and 4.3. And that's all we're going to do for the semester. So as soon as you get all those problems done, you're finished for the semester. And if you submit them, you get the appropriate amount of points for them. So do your best to work on them. And if you have questions, I'm going to try to make videos that explain them. For example, I'll show you what the final product looks like, at least their final product on each one, so that you get an idea of what it's supposed to look like. They're not impossible to do, but they are challenging. So do your best and submit what you have finished.